We're live.
We are live. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, the Friday that I'm super excited to share with you, that we're all excited to be here for. We have two of the best marketers on LinkedIn right now who don't need much of an introduction. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Apologize for starting a little late. Had some technical difficulties.
All right.
Good morning, everybody. Obviously, you guys know who's going to be here today, so I know everybody's excited. I'm not sure if you can hear my dog
in the background.
he's dreaming.
Good
Junior.
This is just off the rails at this point.
So, who do we have today? We have an epic show. We have two financial advisors. We're the first to list influencer as a DBA. We have people who are, famous on LinkedIn. They are known as TikTok dads. And I'm super excited to share with you Keith Wilson and Anthony Ruffalo.
I think probably it's not just LinkedIn. These guys are probably the best financial services marketers that arguably out there right now. So welcome, guys.
All time.
How's it going,
guys? How's it going? I was worrying about you guys talking over each other, but I don't think it's going to be an issue because we can't get Anthony's sound working.
For once, he is silenced.
Yeah, actually, that's been me the whole time. I actually muted him. I thought that would be a hilarious show if he just couldn't say anything. So I figure we'll see where this goes.
One of the truthful mutual advisors got back at him.
Exactly. I wasn't hired.
Hey, thanks for the quota, buddy.
Yeah. So obviously, everybody, you can start getting in your questions now. I have my topics that I want to build off of. Anybody who wants to know, let's get it going. Obviously, we're going to try to get Anthony's sound working. I know we're going to have a lot of fun with this show, and it's going to work eventually. Tech stuff happens all the time. That's how these shows go, and we'll figure it out on the fly. So go ahead, Corey, if you want to bring something up.
I was just going to say, I think one of the things that I'm interested in is providing everybody some value here too, and that's. I want to learn a little about you guys and how you got into it. So I hope that while we'll have fun, I also want to, dig down and find out some of the early stuff that you guys overcame or how you got into all the creative that you're into now.
Oh, so that's the question?
No, take it away, Ryan.
I mean, it sort of was, but here's what I want to go over, Keith. Well, first of all, let's start. How did you guys meet and who came up with the idea for Truthful Mutual?
We met, okay, the story goes like this. A couple years ago, we both started with this video marketing at the same time. And, I think I've told this story before. My first video, I had my iPhone taped to my computer to monitor as a tripod. And I pressed play and I was talking and I didn't know what to do with my hands and it was awkward. But, you progress and I was getting into it. And me and Annie, also known as Pam on The Office, we were watching all these. He said, all right. He said he'll be on in 15 minutes. He's going to the office. Anthony.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. He's going to try there. Anyway, so me and Annie were into the video marketing. She was helping me get started. And so we were looking at all the competitors on LinkedIn and Ruff's face showed up. And it was, I tell you, when I first saw him, I thought he was obnoxious. And I couldn't stand him. It was just.
Was this tracksuit days?
No, this is pre-tracksuit days, way before tracksuit days. But, his face was all in the thing. It was just obnoxious. We were like, who is this guy? And he kept popping up. And I said, he's got a good content. He's got good message. He can just talk on the fly. He's got diarrhea of the mouth that just flows out of him. So then I think I messaged him one time and we started messaging back and forth on ideas. It was more technical stuff. And then he said, we ought to do something together, And I said, yeah, let's do that. And then one time I posted, in fact, I just reposted my process, and it was kind of a little spoof on things. And he took that to heart, and he posted something on the round table, and it was kind of a jab back at me. And that's when he first introduced the track suits, because I said in the video, I like to wear my, best suit. I'm in my boxers. He said, well, Keith Wilson, I like to wear my best suit. Let me show you. And he was just popping through the track suits. And so we decided to do a little collaboration. I went down to Fort Mill and we shot some stuff. He came to Greensboro to do an episode of The Office where he plays David and all this stuff. And then we went, I consider him really my closest friend. We talk all the time, collaborate on ideas, not so, more than just video, on business. And I tell you this, folks, most of you haven't met him in person. He is the most genuine person you'll ever, he does what he says, and he's got a passion, and he's got principles and things like that. You got to look over. Some people say he's cocky or whatever. I would call it confidence. And he's just a genuine guy. But that's how we met. And then that stupid tracksuit, he just kind of went along with it. So hopefully he can come on and get to the office, and we'll see.
Absolutely. And I felt that same, maybe I didn't feel he was necessarily obnoxious or maybe confident, I guess, like you said, but you get that initial reaction. But as I watch his videos and more of his stuff and see how he's funny, but then when he talks to an advisor, he has a completely different tone. I always felt that genuine stuff come out of him. And I think that's something that you do as well, of why you guys do so well on video, because you successfully get your real personality out there. I think it's hard for most people to do.
The thing with the advisor, that he's got a true passion because of his background working in chop shops and things like that. Because when he came to Greensboro the first time, we did The Office episode, and he said, I want to do something for advisors and show them what it's really like. And I think he reposted that not too long ago. That was the first, insurance broker or broker dealer CEO and insurance CEO. He just said, go with it. And if you go back and watch that video, most of the time I'm like, what am I? You didn't tell me exactly what to say, but it just flowed. So it worked really, really well.
Keith, one of the challenges that when we talk to advisors, that most of them
I'm sorry, guys. I got to get this. God. It's my wife downstairs. Hold on. Yeah. Hey, baby. No, I'm on the show. I'm doing the face video right now. I told you about that. It's with the Emiko with Murr and Sal. No. Scrambled eggs. No, I don't. I do not want. I told you I wanted pancakes.
It's a late breakfast.
Yeah, make sure when you flip it, I like them blonde, okay? So flip it early, make it blonde. Bananas. Who the hell puts bananas on their pancakes? This is not IHOP. No. Put a little dash of cinnamon. Scratch that. Nutmeg. Put a little nutmeg on it, syrup, and we're going to be cool. Let me finish up with these guys here on the face video, but okay, I'll be down there shortly. Hey, by the way, what color are your slippers?
Oh boy.
Purple. All right. Little ones with the little pom-poms on the toes. All right. Well, I'll be down there. Oh, yeah, I'll take care of it. Yeah, I'll take the pill before. You got to give me 30 minutes. It takes 30. Okay, cool. All right. Let me finish up with these guys. Love you, babe. I'm so sorry.
Take that pill now. No, we'll wrap this thing up quick.
Yep. Yeah. Gotta go flat my flapjacks.
Yeah, you got it. Nice and golden. All right,
what were you asking me, Murr?
Yeah, so most things that advisors struggle with, right, is how to just get into it, because they're judging themselves, or they feel like, I can't do it as well. I might come off goofy. I don't want to, if people don't like it, how am I going to feel? Like, how do you, and I know, Keith, you coach a lot of advisors through this, but what would you say to them?
I've had a lot of conversations with that. And that is the first struggle, is I don't feel comfortable putting a camera in front of my face. Well, do you feel comfortable in talking with a client? Most people do. I mean, most advisors do because they've got the head knowledge and they're trying to help. It's the same thing. So treat the phone as a client and you got to go with it. The first several videos you're going to make, or they're going to stink.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take a long time. I mean, you're going to have several takes like, oh, I said that wrong. And you got to get over it and just do it. And I would start short and sweet, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Use your iPhone. You can edit on the iPhone. All you need is a starting point and an ending point. Don't worry about all the graphics and movie clips and sound clips. But the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable with it.
Did you ever have a moment when you first started getting into this stuff on LinkedIn that was kind of off the typical narrative, off the script, where you hesitated or wondered, like, am I pushing it too far? Is this going to affect my brand, who I am?
With the goofiness?
Yeah. Or just LinkedIn, even years ago, right? Even go back a couple of years ago, it just had this stigma of being a very professional, straight and narrow platform.
Yeah. Here's a story on that. So I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And when I started to add a little more humor to it and a little more personality, I was saying, this is really cool. I use the intro and then get to the meat. And I was petrified to put that on LinkedIn. There are so many videos in the early days I never posted to LinkedIn. I said, this is more Facebooky, And then, I asked some people, I asked my wife said I'm goofy anyway. I shouldn't do any of it. But I asked others and Annie at the office, I said, should I put this on LinkedIn? She said, sure. I was so scared that I was going to get, blasted and roasted and saying, what are you doing this? That's Facebook. When I started, it was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Actually, the funnier stuff, and maybe some would call it goofier stuff, works better on LinkedIn than it does on Facebook.
Yeah.
So then I got over it. I said, no, people are digging this. And it's because, financial advising and financial planning can be a little mundane and boring. And who wants to hear about Roth conversions all the time and why I should do it? So I use humor to illustrate that point to capture the audience's attention. But yeah, in the beginning, I was petrified, and you shouldn't.
How long do you think
LinkedIn has changed.
Yeah, it really has.
It has, it's not like Mr. Business all the time. And Murr, I saw your clip this morning about, using people come to these social media sites to be entertained and not sold.
The audio doesn't work.
Check.
Ah,
yes.
The king has arrived.
No,
Keith Wilson. Keith Wilson will do. Keith will do anything to prevent me. He's just always trying to outmarket me. The guy launched a freak. I'm getting reports right now from my tech guy back at home. Yeah, it looks like it was a Greensboro centered cyber attack on my computer.
That's who the phone call was. That wasn't his wife. That was the cue to get going on.
Unbelievable.
Make sure you stayed under the radar.
Son of a! I can't believe this.
Well, you're here.
Thank you for driving all the way to your office.
It's a 5K. It's 3.3 miles.
Oh,
No sweat.
Yeah, I know.
Still appreciate it. You didn't have to run all the way over there. So.
See, as a video production tip, since I'm giving that to advisors now,
Keith's all about the tip.
You should test these things
Production tip. Get your mind out of the gutter, Corey.
prior to airing. But you're here, and that's the main thing.
Keith, you hear that? Dead air? Come on.
There's an echo
doing?
in the background.
Yeah, we've got a strong echo
that
going.
as soon as when you got in, Anthony. I'm not trying to crap on all of your sound, but it's terrible.
How about that? Is that
Way better.
That's better. Yep, that's better.
All right, good.
Okay. So
They were asking me how we met, and I told them how obnoxious you were, but you're genuine.
I'm genuinely obnoxious.
car. So while you were driving, that's what we've been talking about.
Wow, sounds like you guys put together a real exciting show.
It's been really good the whole way through. Everything's been working really well. I have a few points. Like, do you guys have anything you want to bring up? I have a few things I wanted to ask. I guess both of you, at least business wise, that actually adds value to people.
Let's pause there because let's ask Anthony the same question that Keith just answered, because I'm curious as to his answer as well, and it's probably similar to what Keith said. But Anthony, the question I was asking Keith was the first time you kind of stepped outside the traditional boundaries on LinkedIn. Did you have the hesitation of what people are going to think of you putting a more goofy or fun tone into that platform?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you exactly which one. It took me 5 videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, you go, you find the one with me wearing the fireman's hat. And I remember I was standing outside in the driveway watching my kids play with the neighbors, and one of the kids had a fireman's hat on, and it was right around tax time. And I'm like, that's all I do is put out fires at work. I'm like, I'm taking that stupid little, do I have it? I got it right here. I'm taking this.
This was all set up.
I'm taking this stupid little fireman's hat.
Oh, he's got props.
And I'm doing a video. This is pre male push-up bra. I mean beard. So I have a shaved face. I look so fat. I was also 20 pounds heavier. And I remember that was the time. And I was like, you know what? Because I was posting videos and I'm looking at myself. I'm like, I'm boring. But I'm like, that's not my personality. I'm like, I'm actually fun, but I'm so boring. I'm like, I don't want to listen to me talk. What can I do so I would actually want to listen to me talk? And this was the seed, the kernel of the ridiculousness that you see today.
It's the same thing. That's exactly what I was talking about. Illustrating a point with humor, with financial planning, the mundane, the boring, so you can capture that audience's attention.
That's what it's all about. I mean, marketing in and of itself is we're seekers of change. Marketers change things. You want to change someone's emotional state. If you can change someone's emotional state, then you capture attention, and that's what it's all about. So you want to take somebody from, as a financial planner, I want to take somebody from being anxious to feeling secure. That's
what in
my
good
job.
God, what was going on underneath me here?
What?
I think Keith just has alarms that set off, and he just does whatever he planned yesterday. Oh, branding.
We were talking about marketing.
Yes.
His pants are already off.
Yeah.
We found that out already.
Oh, Jesus.
So
the actual if the root emotion is
like
what you
hashtag.
need to move people. And it comes from the Latin, the root word emote, which means to move, literally to move, emote. You're never going to do anything unless you move people to emotion. And I think that there's I use humor. I like humor. That's my thing. But it's, I try and avoid in our business, there's always the fear sale. And I hate that, the fear of running out of money, the fear of premature death, the fear of being disabled. I think you gotta, I don't like approaching things in the negative, but I call it out for what it is. And, as a salesperson, essentially what you are is, I think, a lot of these young guys, they got to stop trying to sell, and they got to start just telling it like it is. Like, stop trying to be cute and close the sale. But it's like, listen, if you're not alive and you're not putting money away, what do you want to, like, obviously you need life insurance. Do you think life insurance is a bad idea? No, it's not a bad idea. Okay, great. Now let's talk.
Yep. So how do you think somebody positions themselves as a young advisor when they don't feel like they have anything to talk about, or they don't have like a niche focus, or they're building their experience? I think people should act their age, but at a time you also have to seem experienced to the point where you want to get business. Like, what do you say to somebody just starting out going through that?
I think the best way to build credibility, and I've said this in plenty of my videos in the past, is when you're young, you're 26, you're 27, no one's going to fork over $500,000, or at least they shouldn't.
I got the fancy white
I think the way to start is you have to start with one singular focus. You start with one singular focus where you can build credibility.
And act your age.
And act 100%.
Yeah.
Act your age.
Oh wait a
Keith,
minute.
you're looking
I'm
a little.
I'm Simon Dude.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, that guy.
Ryan, I know you've got some things you want to talk about, but selfishly I got to ask this last one because I'm curious as to, guys, did you any fun stories from the home office when you guys started to really push the boundary that they're like, well, like anything that comes to mind where that they've been engaged with you guys and questioned or had comical conversations with you about it?
Yeah, sure. TikTok was an issue. Because I mean, I've got a TikTok account, and yeah, I use it for fun. And every once in a while, I'll kind of stretch the boundaries and talk about something fun.
Like your most recent video.
That's my my cyber team striking back.
Yeah.
Take that, Wilson. Mess with my audio.
I don't think his internet's frozen. He's just such a superb actor that I think he's just sitting in that spot and he's waiting to turn it back on.
All right, thank God that it froze because he's so damn boring. So can we talk about something of some substance?
Yeah. So one of the things I think you talk about that's the best. Let's just go into. I'll bring up the stuff that I had specifically for you. A post you had recently. You talked about why you chose the office that you have because you're right across from the LPL building. Talk about, we always talk about marketing, like you're just in a tracksuit being funny, but everything you're doing is very strategic at the same time, or at least has some thought behind it. So why don't you talk about that and how it all fits together? And are the majority of your clients from LPL from seeing your videos on social media?
No, I mean, I don't even know I don't even unpack that question. I mean, I've got a pretty established book of business. And here's how LinkedIn and Facebook and the digital stuff and YouTube has helped me grow. In my local natural network, they know me, Anthony Ruffalo, he's a financial guy. Most people don't know, like if you're at the soccer game hanging out on the sideline, they just know, oh, he's in finance or whatever. And I purposely, I'm at the point now where I don't want to talk to everybody anymore about finances because I did that and I built my practice. And now it's like, all right, if you need some help, great. So, oh, Jesus. I was hoping it would stay frozen. So how is that
you were talking about compliance? And as soon
we're
as
not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere.
I shut down.
That's it.
This is going really well. This is just as organized as I thought it would be with having 4 different
I know where
people
he's going.
on one stream.
All right, you were talking about compliance and issues like that. Actually, in the beginning, I had to learn the ropes about what I can say, what I can't say. The biggest mistake I made was shoot the video, submit the video, compliance. Oh, well, you said the word this, and you said a promise, or you got to. So I had to reshoot the whole thing. And then I got a great compliance guy, George Fay, works with me, says, Keith, this is how you do it. Write a script, submit that first. And then, if I have to change the words around, we do it. Then you shoot the video and so forth. So they've been very helpful. I mean, I had one guy that I used the TikTok app for a little intro, but I didn't post it to TikTok. I just used the app for the editing. Yeah, tracksuit is coming.
It's totally coming.
It's totally coming. At least he didn't do it right there, right?
No. But anyway, I used that. And when I submitted, the script got approved, the video was approved, but they saw that short little 10-second little clip with a TikTok watermark, right? That prompted, here he comes.
I'm so glad I didn't kick him out. I almost took him out of the video.
That prompted them to scrub my TikTok account and said, you got to take all these videos down. And they wanted to change my name, my username, which I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But I understood about that. But, it's a learning process.
Do they use you guys, Keith, at all as examples of ways to be creative and market?
I feel like we should have some kind of music in the background for his dun dun dun. Dun, dun, dun,
called it.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's just you now, big guy.
All right, you want to get serious?
Yeah.
Let's get serious.
Now we're providing value and adding substance.
Is this your brother-in-law?
Yeah, is this your brother-in-law?
I heard this is a show about selling a whole life.
Sure is.
Guys need to know how to sell whole life.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, why don't you get started?
Tax free, super Roth. Come on. The hell are you paying taxes for? You're an idiot. Yeah, I know you make $12,000 a year. You're getting creamed in taxes, even though that's lower than the standard deduction. Come on, whole life, baby. Super
Are you
Roth.
the inventor of that MPI?
MPI.
Yeah.
Always be commissioning. MCI, not MPI. MCI. Always be commissioning. Maximum commissionable insurance premium. Take it to the face. Commission to the face all day. See, what we do is we set you up with a contract, then we take that money out of that contract, we buy a second contract, compounding. That's how you get double compounding. Double the commissions, double the compounding, baby.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we take out a home equity line of credit on your house, and then
Now
we
we're getting
triple
serious.
compound.
Now we're getting serious.
Okay.
I like that strategy.
Did you want to say what?
I thought you had a lot of people lined
Corey's
up
like,
to
this
come
thing
on.
is completely off the rails.
I'm
Completely
having a
off.
blast.
You know,
Yeah.
I got a quote. What the hell do you two do for $29 a month?
Yeah.
What are you two doing?
Just raise the price.
Just raise the price because we at first it was becoming this place where advisors could go for content, and we kind of just put people in a group where we're just answering questions on our own time. But we started doing more direct consultation as we found out that was happening, and really I'm looking to increase the price even more from there as we figuring out where we're fitting in and who we're helping the most.
So while you're figuring it out, you're raising the price.
Exactly. Well,
That's
we're
I
raising the
like that
price
strategy.
to the point of
Ruff, we need
you're-
to hire them a
financial
truthful
plan,
mutual.
Yeah, exactly. Commissions to the face.
We're basically
raise the price
having-
as we're providing the value as we provide more value.
We're having
raise the
one-on-one
price.
like video
And both
coaching,
of us
talking
are
people
poor
through
and getting
things.
yelled at by our wives because the price is too low.
I've been doing
don't-
that for free for the last month.
Could have made $25 a month on it.
I know.
And look
So
what you're
what's the goal?
missing.
What's the end game? I mean, you're building a marketing firm, right?
Yeah.
The goal is really to help people just get started, get going, get out of their own way.
Doing
Marketing,
marketing, which means
anything, everything, talking.
This is where I feel like why we made the switch to doing video consulting. Because when we talk to people, people are in like one of two buckets. Either they have opportunity that I feel like they're not taking advantage of that they can, whether they didn't think about themselves or whatever's going on, and bring up new ideas and avenues they can attack, or somebody's trying to just get started for the first time. They're afraid of posting. They just want somebody to bounce ideas off of. They already have content going on. So it's really just a place where, we're helping somebody facilitate either marketing that's already going on, or if you're at your ground floor, helping you do something, because doing nothing doesn't help.
so you guys know. I mean, Brian, you know, LPL charges $1,700 a month for that.
No.
So
Yeah,
here's
LPL
kinda-
charges $1,700 a month for their VCMO, their virtual chief marketing program.
Which, yeah. So
Which
you know how
is-
you guys do
which
the
is-
Truth Mutual thing? Yeah, and you attack the insurance salesman. Like, we're not attempting to attack this, but we are trying to do the opposite of what the lead gen guys are doing for $6,000 every 3 months. 5,600, we promise you 100 leads, da 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 da. Like, we're trying to do the opposite of that and saying it's not that. That's not what works. What works is being active and putting out valuable marketing consistently.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's kind of my point is we're, barely raising the price to the point where we're figuring out where we really fit in. And if we figure out we can provide more value and find that spot, and that's where we're finding ourselves. But I didn't want to jack up the price to $1,000 until I know I can provide somebody $1,000 worth a month for value.
No, I mean, I just think I'll give you we've never had a discussion about any of this. Me and Keith are not here to, market anybody in particular. We're just,
course.
it is what it is. I'm on the show, or we're on the show. We like what you guys do. You have good substance. I understand. Like, I like what you're doing, and you're approaching it, the right way. I think you're way under. I mean, my opinion. I think people should be paying you way more, for what it is that you're doing. I really do. I think you're way underpriced. It's almost like, I'm just trying to say this from a place of love. It's like
We heard it on
you see
Tuesday,
$29 and you're like, well, what the hell is $29? Like, what kind of value is? It's almost like
It was
You're almost
$25.
you're devaluing.
25. What? No, I
just
think
kidding,
you're.
it's
I
less,
think
I know.
you're discounting the value that you really have, to offer and bring to the table. Now, I don't know what your process is in the system and what you actually get for that, but I know that I can tell you unequivocally that just doing one post a day, just one written post, one video, just one thing a day works. And I posted last night, I hit 1 million views of my content, and I keep track of metrics. Last year, so this is my second year. I started February, like just 2 years ago. I said, hey, I'm going to make this push towards digital because I want to grow. And it's the first year I got 261,000 views on total content. In this year, and I took about 2 months off in the summer. I wouldn't post anything if you look at my history, and I'm at 1 million now. And it works. I don't know why it works. It just works like magic. It's YouTube, it's LinkedIn, it's client acquisition, but it's also all of the other opportunity that has come to me through the through the industry. And Keith, I love working with Keith. He's great. I think our strengths and weaknesses complement each other. I do a lot more complimenting on Keith's weaknesses because there's so many of them.
Very hard to edit.
Huh?
I can only imagine.
I said you're hard to edit.
Yeah, I go too fast
Yep.
when I get going. I noticed that myself when I'm trying to edit myself. I'm like, slow down, idiot.
Yeah. I do that when I'm doing my audio. I have like 2 words that are combined together, and I can't cut it at the right time, and it just doesn't fit.
And I'm the
I
exact
try to slow
opposite.
myself down.
I'm the exact opposite. I'll be doing a video and like, so when a Roth conversion, and then I'm easy to edit because I got these long pauses and let's just do a jump cut.
Yep.
Yeah, Keith, you could edit with a pair of safety scissors.
So it's real quick, guys. Anyone watching, if you have questions for these guys, get your questions in, and we'll start to pop questions up and get them to answer anything that comes in.
Yeah, I want to give. How many people are on?
Looks like we got up to 20.
All right, so let's give these people something of value. Like, what do they want to? What else do you want to know?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray. I've got a list. I'll let you.
Well, I was actually going to mention a little bit of TikTok. I wanted to kind of talk about developing the niche, especially for young advisors. So let's do that first. Let's go before I go TikTok. Since you're asking, let's go developing the niche. I was mentioning before, like people don't know what to talk about. You're a 25-year-old advisor. You're trying to find your space. How do you develop that?
Well, I think the fastest way is if I'm 25 and I'll just give you what I did. Okay, at 25, I got lucky. I didn't know any better. I got lucky. It wasn't intentional, but if you have to duplicate it, this is what you do. You find I was a 403B guy. I was in the 403B markets. All I did every day was I got up and I went to a school. And I spoke to teachers. And all I knew was 403B, and I knew insurance, and I knew annuities. That's it. That's all I did. Now, about 2 years in, I realized I'm not a financial planner. And at that point, you got to raise your hand and be honest and say, oh, I'm not doing financial planning. I'm not a comprehensive retirement planner. I'm an annuity and an insurance salesman, which is okay when you're 25, 26, 27 years old. But it's like once you know and the light bulb goes on and then you continue to do that, then you're a thief at that point. My opinion. If you know better and you don't do better, that's a problem. That's a character problem. So I got lucky, niche. And the way that I differentiate, because that wasn't easy in and of itself, but the way that I differentiated in that space was I studied the pension system, the North Carolina pension system, and I talk to people about their pension. Like, hey, you know that 6% that's automatically comes out of your paycheck every month and you have no idea where it goes? Yeah, well, let's sit down and talk about that. And then I created the need because you have the pension that only replaces, after full 30 years, that's only 54% of your income. Sprinkle in some Social Security, that may be 20%. And then what happens? Well, you have a gap and you also have a liquidity problem. So how do you make that up? 401k, 403b, 457, and then you talk about, Roth pre-tax versus after tax. And that's where I went with it. And every day that's where I went. And that's how I cut my teeth in the industry. So if I was starting out brand new, that's exactly what I would do. I would go, who's the largest employer in every single state? Who's the largest employer? Every single state in the entire United States. Who's the largest employer?
Amazon?
No. The state.
The state.
The state.
Yeah.
The state is the largest employer in every state. So if you don't know, if you have no clue what to do, and every state has probably 4 to 8 different subsets of the pension system, start becoming a specialist in your state pension system. And go, you have 200,000 people that's your market that don't pay attention to any of this stuff and that legit need help. And that's a perfect place to start when you're learning the business. And then, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it on a fee basis. I would create a plan like the XPY, network. Like, hey, I'm charging you $30, $50 a month. I'm your consultant and I give you, pension advice. And there's so many intricate details, like buying back especially in North Carolina, it's very transient. So you had a lot of people moving down from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and they were teachers for 5-6 years. And then they left the pension system. They moved down here. They don't know how to bring that down here and get credit in this system. So you just you're starting with value. You're giving, I'm not talking about a product. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about, hey, this is your pension. This is your life here. Like, there are big decisions that you need to make that revolve around where you need to do 25, 30 years in one state in order to get a pension. If you decide not to do that, that's a major life-changing retirement decision that you need to be aware of before you do that with your husband or wife. So it's all about this entire business is about, man, I think the more you can give advice on things that you're not compensated on, the more trust and credibility that you build. And then all the insurance and the annuity and the investments and all that other stuff, you'll eventually be compensated on in some way, shape, or form. But it all just starts with giving good, solid advice that's truly like in the best interest of people. Like how do you empower people to make good quality life decisions? And it's come from also witnessing so many disasters. It's like, how did nobody explain this to you? Yeah. How do you not know? Here, I'll give you a heartbreaking. I was 28 and I was in a school and I ran into a teacher, and she had moved from South Carolina across the border to North Carolina. She worked 26 years in South Carolina. Now, if you guys know, in the pension, you accumulate either, years of service, and then you turn on the pension at a certain age, which is like, call it $30,000 a year for life, right? Or there's also a cash balance that's sitting there, that you've accumulated through your contributions and your employer contributions. Well, you can roll that over. It's the worst thing in the world to do because you may be entitled to a $150,000 lump sum benefit versus $30,000 for the next 40 years of your life. Obviously, you don't take the lump sum. Some Momo talked this poor lady into rolling over her 150 or one set, whatever it was, into an annuity. She got sold the annuity because the guy told her that when you only have to work 5 years in North Carolina and you get a full pension. Well, yeah, you do. You get an unreduced pension, but it's not the same economic value as a 30-year pension. It's like $300 a month, not $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's where. I mean, and you gotta sucks. I get amped up. I get amped up. I get passionate about it because, these guys, like, God forbid, if I ever saw that guy who did that to that poor old lady, I'd choke that guy unconscious. Yeah. That's what he deserves.
People
that's somebody's life. That's your life's work. You just stole like years from somebody.
So you think this is where the videos come from, Truthful Mutual? It's like that you guys both seem to have that real passion, obviously, of something that makes you mad. And I know you guys believe in insurance and don't hate all insurance companies, but obviously you're big on punching proprietary products in the face, which I completely agree with. I think that comes with it sounds like it's, it sounds like it's really real. Like something that actually bothers you guys fuels your fun content together.
Keith, why don't you tell him some sales meeting stories from back in the day?
So when I was starting out in 1989, when I was a young lad, I was working with a captive insurance company, right? They had 5 products. One of them was proprietary. And I became the youngest sales manager. And they had offices all up and down the East Coast. I think it was 25 years old, was the branch manager. Then I had to go to Florida every month for all the other manager meetings, and the head honcho CEO, very egotistical, power hungry, owned all kinds of other things. And it was a power trip for him. We were in a horseshoe shaped, room with all these managers. Here I am 25 and we got 40-year-olds and so forth. And he's going, how many people did you recruit this month? How many, it was all about recruiting, get them masses of, get them in there. And this fellow next to me was 45, close to 50, brand new office. How many? None. I want you to stand up on this table so everybody can see what a jackass you are. Just ridiculed the heck out of them. You're a loser. You're not worth anything, blah, blah, blah. That was my 3rd meeting. So 3rd month, I quit the next day after that one. And in one of other meetings, he would say, everybody pull out your wallet. Back then, we used this stuff called cash. They were not like debit cards.
It's like paper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't have debit cards and all that stuff.
Is it? I'm sorry. You're right. It is.
So he said, everybody empty out your wallet. I want to see how much cash you got. You should always carry at least $1,000 with you at all times. The flashiness when you're out, so people think you're something. I had $9 in my, and he just ripped me a new one. Why don't you have $1,000 in your wallet, Keith? Well, what if I get mugged or, things like that? So, that's the passion Ruff's talking about with making somebody captive and under your thumb and drinking the Kool-Aid and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where that stuff comes
I didn't
from.
realize how real it was. So when you were climbing on the table, like obviously that was a big joking performance, but that was serious.
That was serious.
It's like a serious thing. That's incredible. Yeah. That's
incredible. It may not be as bad now as it was then, but it still happens.
No, listen, I get the DMs.
It still happens.
I mean, people being like, what you just said, like hits me in my heart kind of stuff, or people ridiculing you for going after mutual fund companies and insurance companies.
No, I get tons of DMs from guys they feel stuck. They're stuck in these places. They know what's going on is wrong. But they kind of have they're legitimately, they're stuck. They maybe 5-7 years in, they've got some trails coming in. You got a family, you got financial obligations. They just don't have they're not in a financial position to start over, and they hate it,
But in full disclosure, Anthony, you're letting them off the hook by saying they're stuck.
Michael Gordon had a post the other day. Michael Gordon had a post the other day about this, scared of going to independent, and you shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. And he listed all these reasons why. Yeah. And that's where we lost, Ruff and I lost a lot of advisors from Truthful Mutual after they read that.
We're hemorrhaging.
Okay, let's get some of these questions in, Ryan, for these guys.
Let's do that. Okay. So
how do you get retail clients to engage with you on Facebook, or is Facebook a waste of time in regards to prospecting?
I get more from Facebook than LinkedIn. Because I'm more, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a business Facebook page, obviously. Right. So in business Facebook page, you can't reach out and say, hey, you want to be my friend request and all that. It's got to be all organic. So, I started doing the business Facebook just a few years ago. And before that, I didn't have a personal Facebook page. I wasn't into social at all. And then actually my assistants at that time, and this was several years ago, they set up my business Facebook I think, yeah, they set up my personal, and the idea was build your personal, get, invite them to like your business. And so that started working. But Ruff gave me a great idea a couple years ago where, this just happened on 9/11. I put together a 9/11 tribute video, and it had nothing to do with business. It was just emotion. It was a great video. Put it on my business Facebook page. I think it's 80,000 views, 600 shares.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
So something like that, and then that started to build up the followers. And so when I do a video or whatever, it's obviously, hopefully, popping up in their feed. But I've gotten some financial plans from Facebook. When Ruff and I were doing the live show, that was earlier in the year, wasn't it, Ruff? I picked up some financial plans from there. People, messaging me and things like that. So I get more from Facebook. And Joe Conroy, I don't know if he's on or not, but we were talking not too long ago. He was starting to do Facebook ads, and he says, this thing is working. He was getting some clients from it. So I just did my first ad not too long ago, and I did it wrong because I set my budget. I thought it was $10 a day for 10 days. I said, okay, I'll give whatever, $100. I'll give it a shot. Well, it was $10 total for 10 days.
$1 a day.
One ad.
So
What, did Sally Struthers run that campaign?
so I did it wrong, and I'm gonna get
Getting
back
7 impressions a day.
Yeah, those film crew, those when they're over there, film, doing the Feed the Children commercials, right?
Yeah.
They're over there. The kids are rolling around in
$1 a
mud.
day. You can get a
They're
financial
starving.
plan.
They're starving, rolling around in mud. They're filming them, and it's like the film crew could give them a sandwich. Right? No, don't feed them yet. They got to look hungry for the video. Don't feed them yet.
This is awful.
Seriously, that's those Sally Struthers video. You remember that? Feed the Children.
The
Never seen
1:30
South
p.m. on a
Park.
Tuesday.
South
show.
Park goes after them pretty well. Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Can somebody on the film crew get these kids a ham sandwich?
Anthony, where does posting content on YouTube fit into your equation? Tracking the metrics from that. Have you seen traction, success?
No. So I don't post all that much to YouTube. I kind of have some of my core pillar content on there. Just if I have some more of the serious stuff on there, and some of I can't post in volume on there because of compliance. So what that means, you see me, I post every day, and I do I get something up every day on LinkedIn because I don't have to run it through compliance because they're on social patrol. With YouTube, I have to get pre-approval for everything that goes on YouTube, and it's a pain. It's just a pain with running a practice and then trying to keep up with social. So by default, what's happened is I really just post to LinkedIn and Facebook, and I call it a day. And then if I have something that I really, feel is important, I'll put on YouTube. But I've got a bunch of stuff on there enough where I feel like, somebody searches me, they'll find me. Now, what I would suggest if you're, younger guys starting out, or anybody starting out, you want to use YouTube. YouTube is powerful. You use YouTube as you create your core long form pillar content on YouTube. That's where people go when they're like, hey, I'm really considering working with a Keith Wilson or a Ryan or a Corey, and let's figure out what these guys are all about. And they sit down and they do their research. It's almost like, you're trying to you learn how to fix your washer and dryer. You're trying to learn how to do something. People do their research on YouTube. So you got to have at least 10, 15 core pieces of content. And for internally for LPL, I've done calls, and I created a slide deck for guys, 10, 15 videos to do, about who you are, what you believe, what you stand for, what your planning process is. Just something as a primer to get you on there. Then something cool happens with YouTube. You get a link. With YouTube, you get a link that you have a link that you can now text to people, or you could DM to people directly, and you use that to prospect. And you can also use that link to email clients. So if I have something cool that I want, and you can do internal and you can do external because you don't have to make videos public. I can make a link private in YouTube for something internal that I'm doing about a market update, and then just send that to 30 clients that I want. Like I did that during the pandemic a couple times. Say, hey, I did a quick little here. This is what I'm doing here in the practice. This is what we're from an investment. I'm not putting that out publicly, but I'm doing that internal.
I post to YouTube. YouTube's big for me. I post every week a video, and I think I turned the corner maybe 4 months ago and got real serious with the YouTube, and there's no fluff. It's no funny. It's how do I roll over a 401k? What people are searching for. So it's a serious video. It's long form, 7 minutes or more.
And Keith puts in a couple of hours. His YouTube. If I was an advisor, well, I am an advisor. If I was an advisor starting, I would copy what his YouTube channel is one of the best YouTube channels for financial advisors that I've seen, where he puts a lot of time in and he really polishes it up and makes it a really pretty visual, aesthetically pleasing product. And then his content is good. He takes the time, which is where I fall short. He takes the time to really put together good quality technical content for people that are truly searching to find what the hell is that stuff.
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. And it's starting to work. It wasn't not too long, maybe a month or so. Somebody called out of the blue, and they were in the local area. I saw your video on YouTube, and I have questions. It's like, wow. Because it's also, Google SEO. When somebody's Googling, like Ruff said, if I get a referral, before they're going to talk to me, what are they going to do? Who is this guy, Keith Wilson? Google. And if you have a slew of YouTube videos, a slew of LinkedIn content, you're going to pop up in that search. And then, wow, he's all over the place. And he's has credibility. So yeah, the YouTube is big for me. And like I said, I started doing YouTube like 2 years ago, just like Ruff with the fireman hat and all that. But some of that stuff is the silly stuff that I would do on LinkedIn. That doesn't belong on YouTube. It's interesting. It's the tutorial. It's the tutorial stuff that you need.
Do you say it doesn't belong? Like, what if you had a different channel, Keith? Like
Yeah, I do, and I have one.
Okay.
That's the personal one. I haven't done much on that lately.
LinkedIn is just like it's a loss leader. It's you're creating. If you think of all of social media in terms of distribution, there's different distribution. That's all it is distribution of attention. So if you think about it in those terms, I've always from day one, when you're scrolling, I try and put out content like I would consume it, which is. It's got to get my attention. It's got to be quick, and it's no wonder I've noticed on LinkedIn that if you notice this week, all I've posted was static posts. I used to do that's how I started was just by writing static posts. Those I'm averaging between 5 and 10,000 views on those static posts versus organic videos are I'm lucky. Man, I used to get 5,000, 6,000 on the good ones, on the good videos. And now I'm like, we're getting 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 views. I'm like, what is this crap? And I'm like, that should kill it. But the engagement is here. I'm like, I'm looking at engagement. If I've got 100 likes on something, that should be, in my opinion, minimum 5,000 to 10,000 views, and that's not happening anymore. The engagement is there, the comments are there, but the views aren't like they used to. So I don't know what they're doing with the algo behind the scenes. Either that, or they're just like the insurance companies are paying to suppress our voices.
I told you a few weeks ago you got shadow banned.
Do you think that means that you're seeing the people who are liking your posts, the front level people who always see you, but it's not showing them to their friends? You think that's what the algorithm's doing? Because I've noticed the same thing. I'm getting all the same numbers, but then the views don't go as far. So I realize I'm reaching the same people who like my stuff, but it's not going further, I guess is how it feels.
So here's you know Josh Brown. I actually really like him. Downtown Josh Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a Long Island guy. He's a money manager. He just put out a book. I really like his stuff. I really do. He's just straight to the point, and he's second level thinking guy. He's not. He's every time he puts something out, I'm like, damn it! Why did I think of that? It's so smart.
Yeah.
He's got 200, but follow the metrics. He's got 258,000 followers on LinkedIn. He'll put a post up and get 50 likes.
Yeah.
I don't know what his views are, but I have a feeling, just like every other platform, what's going to happen is that they're going to want you to start paying soon. LinkedIn is going to want to start monetizing their platform. You get everybody hooked. You get everybody hooked on the drug for free, and then they get you on the comeback.
Absolutely.
It's the brother-in-law.
Get you on the comeback. Where else do we got? We got more questions?
Well, I know we got Mitch in the queue here, so why don't you, we'll roll this
Bring
along, Reddit.
on Mitch.
Hey, I got somebody I want to bring on so he can ask you guys some questions.
What's up, fellas? So great to see all of you.
Bitch!
My brother from another mother.
My brothers. Hey, Corey, nice to meet you face to face as well.
You as well, Mitch.
So obviously, I wanted to bring you on, Mitch, because of your heavy experience on LinkedIn Live, some great technical information, and showing advisors what they can do. I guess when you have experience, you're with the BD, and you're all over the place. So I think everybody gets a different level of experience. But I just wanted to have you on to be able to kind of tell people about that, about your marketing sides, and obviously get to hang out with Anthony and Keith for a little bit.
Well, just a quick shout out for LinkedIn. For you, Ryan, Anthony, and Keith, we've all actually taken our friendship beyond just commenting. We've had nice phone conversations, and I think it's fair to say we all consider each other good friends. And it's just what I love about this. We have such a good camaraderie, and there's Nick Nielsen and Joe Conroy. We're just like such a great group. I love it. I look forward to seeing your content every day. I started making videos probably like my first one was almost 10 years ago. And it's developed over time. So yeah, you're right. I use a broker dealer and corporate RIA. And I would say they're very good with me and how I do my marketing, and they get my approvals to me pretty quickly. And I think that's how it should be for all financial advisors. I think the compliance and everybody else at the broker dealer, they're supposed to remember that, we're the ones who are bringing in the revenue. They're working for us. I know some people are not going to like to hear that. So I have pretty high expectations in terms of what I would get from my broker dealer. And if you're working for a firm that's just not allowing you to be you and slowing you down, or saying no to everything and not giving you guidance, I think you have to rethink the relationship with your broker dealer.
And you're on Instagram too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
And you don't have a problem with Instagram?
No, as a matter of fact, we as a broker dealer just got access to Instagram maybe 7 months ago. I'm probably the first of my entire BD to actually use it. You have to have a business account though. Which is it looks just like a regular individual account. It's really almost
same as Facebook. It sounds like, where they made you make the business page, which I wish. That's where I think it would be easier, is if you could do a personal page similar to like LinkedIn, where you can kind of grow organically. Like imagine if we were trying to do all of this through the MCO, that would be difficult. But I can do this as Ryan, Corey can do this as Corey, and I think that makes us go a little bit further. It makes it easier if we could get.
I wish I utilized my Facebook business page more, but I'm on very active with business content on my personal Facebook page too. I would say probably 10% or less of the business content that I post on LinkedIn, I post on my personal Facebook page, just because, I don't want to be that guy that's just spamming the hell out of my friends with more business content. You don't want to be that guy. They know where to find me. They if it's something really important or something, then I'll definitely, something in the media, what have you, I'll definitely share that on my personal Facebook page. But
I'll tell you a funny story that's very true about spamming the hell out of your friends. So, like I said, it was just 3 years ago that I had a personal page and then the business page. And the idea was build your personal, get them to invite. And so where I started was, let's go through all my high school buddies, you know? So, I mean, it was about the whole school I got on my personal page. And then I
They're
started.
still alive?
Yeah. And then I started, invite, like my page, whatever. And then last year we had our 35-year reunion, right? And I haven't seen these high school people. Most of them I forgot who they were. I just know, hey, you went to my high school, you better like me. And so I'm at the high school reunion, and more than 2 people come up to me. I know what you're doing with Facebook.
Like
said,
it's
"What
a
do you say?"
mystery. They figured it out.
We're all in our 50s, and you're, trying to get us over there so you can invest our money. I said, well, yeah. So then I felt a little,
What kind of
crummy.
high school did you go to?
What?
What kind of high school did you go to?
Just a public high
What the
school.
hell kind of question is that, Mitch? What do you mean? What kind of high school did you go to?
A Montessori. No.
Catholic, Christian,
What kind of high school did you go to?
strict Hasidic.
Yeah, I went to Jericho High School, so it's just a regular public school. Anthony knows what kind of school it is.
It's a good thing it's Friday.
Anthony's
Yeah.
my fellow Long Islander, so we
That's
grew
good. I
up
know
about,
Jericho. Yeah,
we grew up like 10 minutes from each other. I'm a little older.
It's named after a town in the First Testament, in the Old Testament. I mean, what do you
I went
think?
to school in the 60s.
Where did you guys actually meet, Mitch, when you all came together? Anthony and Keith, did you guys meet first, or how did you guys kind of come together as a group?
I started seeing Keith's videos popping up in my LinkedIn feed, and I think we started DMing each other, and one day we exchanged phone numbers and talked. Same thing with Anthony, and it just was a very easygoing relationship. We speak on the phone. We've talked about content and other personal things, and we've just become friendly over time. It just happened.
Technical stuff. I like. Where'd you
Yeah.
get that microphone?
Yeah,
I see we're all using the same microphone too.
Yeah, because Mitch, you remember that time I did a video and I had just gotten the Yeti and I had it on a stand in front of me and it was just pointing right at me. And you messaged me and said, you really should have that at an angle, not right in your face type of thing.
Yep.
Good job.
And I said,
You talk to the side of the microphone, not to
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. But I had it. I said, well,
Or
really,
it
that
starts to
wasn't
sound
even
like that. Yeah.
that mic wasn't even on. I said that was just a prop, kind of like a Johnny Carson thing. And he says, well, that's a damn expensive prop you got there.
expensive paperweight.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of also that's part of taking the time. This is a grind. Posting every day and then keeping up. It's a grind. And then there's a lot of intrinsic or qualitative benefits that come from being active on social. I mean, I've met people out in California that I meet people all over that I would never have ever had the opportunity to talk to or talk with before because of, just having fun on social, especially when you're independent. You just feel like, you're alone. I got me and an assistant, and a lot of times you feel like you're alone on an island. And when you connect with other guys, you pick up things, pick up strategies. How do we empower more advisors to bet on themselves? Well, that's a good question. How do we empower more advisors to bet on themselves?
No, you can finish your thought, Anthony. You were going on being an independent and.
Yeah, you feel like you're on an island. It's one of the things that we don't really talk about is the psychology and the mental health of the pressure and the weight that's on our shoulders. Because in the middle of the pandemic, I mean, plus we're I don't know, we've got family, we've got clients, and I think inherently we all really everybody wants to see their clients win. That's why we do what we do, because we truly. I don't know about you, but I treat clients better than I treat family. Like a lot of times I ignore family and I'll pick up my clients' calls because family is
I did
kind
that
of
this morning.
yeah. So we all inherit the mental health of being alone and shouldering that burden because a lot of times we're like, hey, the market's going to be fine. Market's going to be fine. And kind of in the back of your head, you're like, is it really, is this the thing that's going to unravel it all? You're like, in the middle of a pandemic, you're like, holy crap, like legit, you've seen
What if
people
it doesn't?
not necessarily the market, but the pandemic is like, we could hit a mortality rate of 10%, and that means 30 million, 35 million people in the US could be wiped out if something like that happened. And now it's our job, because clients are thinking like that. Hey, what happens to investments and markets, and if that happens, and you start running through all those scenarios.
I made a pretty morbid video about that. Keith was listening to it. I made a pretty morbid video about right in the beginning of like the worst. I gave a worst case scenario of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I got all kinds of calls, DMs, like, you're scaring the hell out of me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You remember that, Keith?
I remember watching it live. I was like, oh my God. And I
remember you came on. You came on and you did a follow-up show the next day, because I think you felt bad.
You apologized for it.
I had to. I came on the next day. And
I remember that too. We talked.
You were talking about bodies laying on the ground and body bags, and we're not.
There's not enough refrigeration for the dead bodies that are going to be laying around Manhattan.
Yeah, but it was just a worst case scenario, though. But people were like, "You scared the hell out of me. I don't know why you did that. What do you do?" My wife was like, "What are you thinking?" She's like, "I have to make sure the kids don't hear this." My kids are adolescents; they're old enough to understand this stuff. So, I had to apologize. But as far as like what Nick asked before,
but that's great marketing.
I guess if it gets your attention, it's great marketing, right? But the industry is the best it's ever been, and it's just so much better. And I think what's happening is we've had this big breakaway movement of people like us going independent. And I think now that we have a lot of little independents, a lot of 1 to 3 people firms, I think what's going to happen is they're going to start to coalesce into bigger and bigger RIAs. And I think the training is going to be so much better. And I think the environment that's going to be created it will be for younger financial advisors that actually want to work with the firm they're working for, because they'll be working for people like us.
Yeah. And
they'll enjoy it. And that's where it's going. So I see the trend of 1 person, 2 person, 3 person shops. That's like already history. I think we're all starting to coalesce around bigger shops.
Mitch, I'm waiting for the next iteration of, like, there's all these people that have been, like, probably around the 2008, 2009 crash. There was a huge breakaway from all, wirehouses, insurance BDs, people with books of businesses. There was a lot of transition that happened, and that was about a decade ago. And now you've got guys that have been independent for a decade now, and they're starting to now the next iteration of true independence is RIA model and disaffiliating with your broker dealer. I think that's going to be the next wave that you want. And because things like this, if you don't have a compliant, if you're an RIA, you're your own compliance.
So have you guys ever considered that? Like, let's just call the elephant on the room. Have you guys talked off camera and if you can't even answer this, like we could create a powerhouse, like with the attention we have?
We are like the LinkedIn content royalty right here. Us guys and a few others who are not on the show. I've thought about going strictly independent RIA, and as a one-man show, I could actually be an RIA as well. I don't just have to be an RIA-R, right? But as long as my broker-dealer / RIA is very good with getting me my approvals for my content, I'm happy with everything else they're doing for me too. So if that changes, then I would definitely consider becoming an RIA, or just say, you know what? My logo, my client name, my client first strategy name, it got me this far. It'll have to be time to consider what my next step is.
What if you laddered it up, Mitch, right? You laddered it up and some of you guys came together, and I don't want to give you the idea, which you probably already have, but you come together and then you put people who need this help, who are good people, through your system that has made you guys big. And now you sit at the top and teaching all these other advisors to do it the way you did it and do it on your own.
King of the castle, on my
you know,
throne.
It's interesting. Anthony mentioned downtown Josh Brown. I've been reading his blog content since he started for over 10 years, and we've met in the past a few times. I've actually run into him just riding bikes at Jones Beach. He's everything he really is. He's a really nice guy, but he has people all over the country. They're not like just a New York City centered firm. They're a remote firm as well. So it is possible to build an RIA with people like us from different parts of the country. It does not have to be centralized anymore.
Yeah. So Corey, to answer your question, of course that thought is now, crossed. I mean, it's a function of math, right? So first and foremost, there are, fees, and then there's a value proposition, and you weigh that. And once what you're paying your broker dealer starts to tip way far in one direction, that you start to consider that overall equation much more closely, so to speak. So, and then and this is just throw it out there.
Would you partner with anyone, or just
as an RIA? And I've had conversations with guys that know this. This is not my expertise. Is like the mechanics of how all of that, the big $1 billion IRAS. I don't know a ton about that. But here's what I will tell you, and it has been confirmed. If you go to sell your practice as an exit strategy right now, you like Keith, because if he wants to retire in 10 years, he's looking at probably like a 2.5 multiple on his advisory business on reoccurring revenue, maybe a multiple of 1 on your transactional stuff. Okay, so that's that number. If you're an RIA and the more assets that you have under management, you can get a 3-4 multiple. So on your exit on the back end, your multiple goes higher on a sale. So if you have 500 million, if you're a partnership and you have 500 million in assets and you want to sell to a Carson that has 4 billion in AUM, well, they're going to give you a much larger multiple because it's in one nice, neat, pretty little package, and they're not messing around with the 40, 50, 60 million dollar people. They'll pay a larger multiple for more assets. So it does beg the question of why shouldn't you have 10, $50 million guys get together with the thought of, hey, in 10 years, when we want to, for our succession planning, why wouldn't we want a 4 multiple and monetize our life's work versus a 2 multiple if I just sell it on my own?
It makes a lot of sense, and as the industry is aging, it makes more sense. I'm in the Financial Planning Association, and I'm 53, and I'm still one of the youngest people in the room.
That's scary.
So it makes a lot of sense. I believe I'm just about the same age as Keith.
That's scary.
You're close to my age.
Which is?
You're 54, right?
So Nick, I was just texting with Nick Nielsen because I wanted clarification on his question. His question was, how do you get more advisors to bet on themselves? And I said, well, what does that mean? He means go independent, not have to stay and work for the man. I think that's just certain people. I had this conversation yesterday with somebody who is stuck and there are some people that just, they don't want to think about, they're not that entrepreneurial minded. They don't mind working for an insurance company. They're literally like, if you're at, one of the mutuals or Equitable or something, like you're an employee of the insurance company. Whether you like it or not, that insurance company dictates what you can and can't do. And more often than not, if you look at that person's solutions, the bulk of their book of business is going to be life and annuity based. That's just how it works because you work for an insurance company. So how do you get more people to bet on themselves? I think you got to get people to wake up to, number one, if you're on the wirehouse side, dude, it's a no-brainer. You're getting a 35-40% payout. You got this horrible corporate culture, and everything's being dictated to you. I heard a story yesterday of somebody Merrill isn't letting anybody in their office. Like, I come and go. I've got my own office. I come and go as I please. It's much more convenient with this pandemic to be able to get out of the house. I mean,
you wouldn't have been on the show.
No, thank God. So you have to do math. Like, when you're at a wirehouse, you're getting a 35% payout. Independent, you're getting at least 90, which allows you to charge you can literally charge your client less and make more money.
Yeah.
You make more money and you charge your client less. That's just lazy and selfish.
We just created a commercial.
That's just lazy to me. If you know that you can charge your client less and make more money, how do you call yourself a financial advisor?
Look, there are some clients out there with, so let's say some substantial account sizes, and just some of them will not put their money with anyone other than a brand name firm because there's a safety element to that.
Who's Mitch? Who's safer than Schwab? Right? Who's true? Then a troll Schwab. You're going to tell me? In fact, you could make the argument.
It's not the clearinghouse. It's the financial advisor. If a financial advisor at a large wirehouse absconds with money, that client feels, and rightfully so, that they will be made whole. But a smaller firm feels true, and that's what we have to do to change the perception of that. But a smaller firm might not be able to handle that, and there are some people who say, no matter what, this has to be 100% safe. If I have to pay a little more, or then they'll do it.
So I understand that there's a certain safety that comes along with a major brand name. I get it. But if you have a Schwab or a TD Ameritrade or LPL is becoming much more of a known brand as far as from a safety perspective, I don't see what I think that's a mental hang up. And
it's a mental hang up that has to be overcome. But
they're looking at you in your office, and like Mitch says, they're not looking at the clear through.
But you could also make the point. Does anybody remember in 2009 when, I don't know, Merrill Lynch was a forced shotgun wedding between Merrill Lynch and Bank of America because they were going out of business because their balance sheet was too levered? Mm-hmm. Anybody remember that? Sure. You could make the argument that you could be a little bit safer not having your money at an investment bank with leverage. I just throwing it out there.
Look, there's lots of ways to skin the cat. I'm talking about, mic drop. I'm talking about, it's a perception. That's what it is. It's a perception.
Sure, that's a good point. It is
financial advisors hate switching firms more than anything.
Yeah.
And I sure do, because I've switched firms. I've been in my current form as an independent. December 4th will be 15 years. And like the thought of having to make another switch in my mind it's pretty daunting. Yeah, it's
horrendous.
Repapering every single account, every single asset management fee, every single portfolio approach, every single financial plan. It's a rough process.
I get it.
So that's probably part of it too. Plus, a lot of these people have equity compensation in their firm, so it's not quite as easy. I think that's why the independent side, I think, favors beginners, people who are in their first 3 to 5 years of their business, are probably the people who, from what I could see, are best off going independent. You're not too deep into your current firm yet, where giving up assets or something is a big problem, but you're not. But you're old enough just to start having the experience to know what you have to do to help clients.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to jump off at 11. We have somebody that we're talking to, but I more than obviously appreciate having each of you guys on. We could talk about this, I feel like, forever. This could be a whole nother show by itself. It's really valuable for advisors to hear that. It's a hard conversation to tell somebody to leave, and it's not something I'm ever comfortable telling somebody, but it's a conversation that we can have around the idea that people really do feel that way. They feel scared. They're afraid to make the jump, but it could be better for you and your clients. And I think it's something people should at least think about, just because it's so valuable to them. You know, you guys provide so much value to everybody for free through your videos, through your marketing. I really suggest, if you guys don't know these three, to start following them right away, and without copying them, you know, take some of the knowledge that you grab from their marketing and what they do, and do it for yourself and really have your own voice. You can see that success happens. They're all very successful online, doing a good job.
To that extent, let me read you a quote.
Yeah.
As far as copying, Ryan's like, really, shut up, Ruffalo.
It was killer. It was a killer end, but let's go ahead and ruin it.
Oh, I'm sorry. This will be a good
That's
end.
the other thing with editing. He doesn't know how to end it.
We'll end it at 11. Just
Ready? No, this will be the perfect cut. Ready?
All right. Yep.
Knowledge is not the personal property of its discoverer, but the common property of all, as we enjoy great advantages from the inventions of others that came before us. We should be glad an opportunity to serve others exists because of our own invention, and this should be shared freely and generously.
So copy away is what he's saying.
I know a patent attorney who would patently disagree, but that's okay.
Hey guys,
Hey
it's a
guys,
pleasure
thank
for
you
me.
so much for having me on. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. Hey, thanks again, Anthony, for running up to your office. I know it's close, but still, for you to jump in the car and go to it so you can do the show. I really appreciate that. All right.
Peace out, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
See you
See ya.
guys.
Have a good day. For sure, my favorite show by far. I knew how much fun it was going to be. I think you guys knew how much fun it was going to be. I literally have probably 30 seconds to jump over, or maybe a minute or so to jump over to MCO. We're gonna chop this up and we'll put out clips. There were so many gems in here, but really everybody should watch the whole episode. Depending on where you are in your life, you're going to find some value in here, whether you're just starting as an advisor or you're established. These guys have so much experience that you guys can learn from. I have, as an advisor, as a marketer, just as a person, just talking to them have provided me a lot of value. I don't always take their advice, which I should listen more, but I appreciate everything they do. And, you guys should really follow them. You're going to learn so much. You already know how great Keith is at video and how Ruff is at talking, and everybody has their own thing. So start putting out your own content to find out what your thing is. And
Look, we carried an audience there for an hour and a half, and I'm looking at the numbers still, and they're still there. So people are this message resonates with people.
And it just goes to show what a brand can do. Look at how you guys look at Keith and Anthony and how great they are. And that's what you guys have to become, but you can't do that without posting. So take your time to try to establish yourself and just get going. Thank you guys so much. And
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks again, Keith. Thanks, Anthony. And thanks, Mitch. All right. Jumping in. Thanks, everybody.